we have is an industry and a government infrastructure which is acting in concert to promote the industry's policies. And we reach a critical time. So that was why the film needed to be made. It was a story of complex legislation, litigation, injustice, medical science and corruption that leads us to the catastrophic situation in which we find ourselves now, faced with mandatory vaccination from pregnancy to grave worldwide, no exceptions. That is the plan of certain politicians and of the pharmaceutical companies. We are their marketplace. Our children are their marketplace. And the consequences for people like you and your profession and my profession, people who stand up against this, is that their careers are destroyed. So we have a situation where children are forced to get vaccinated. There are threats and the actuality of children being removed from their parents if they don't have them vaccinated. Doctors who question vaccine safety are called anti-vaxxers and chased out of the profession. We have fines being levied against people who don't vaccinate. And we're moving into an Orwellian situation where, in the end, the pharmaceutical companies will come to control our lives through their control over the media, the politicians, and the medical profession. And that has to be stopped. And so this film, the time for this film was well nigh. With Vax, we had the De Niro effect. Here we had the COVID effect, because people were not awake to the idea that there will be adult mandates for this vaccine. You will not be able to say no. When it was just childhood vaccines, then many of the population, oh yeah, children need their vaccines. But then when it came to, you're going to force me to have this vaccine? Really? I don't think so. Suddenly it woke up many people, and so in subsequent polls that they're doing, what we're seeing is more and more till we have more than 50% of people now are saying no to a COVID vaccine. And that's a huge dilemma for those who are pushing a vaccine-only agenda, because they can't win in the face of that attrition of public confidence in their opinion. In their opinion that it's going to be safe and effective. Well, it may not be as safe and effective as we thought. You may need a dose every 3 months for the rest of your life. And yeah, we'll make a lot of money on the back end of this, but you've got to have it. You've got to have it, but not a life-saving treatment that we can't patent and isn't going to make us any money at all. And people are waking up to this now, and they've seen over the years the opioid crisis and Merck and all of the major manufacturers of vaccines in this country for children are convicted felons. And Bobby Kennedy makes this case very, very well, that these are convicted felons with whom our governments are doing business. And we're meant to trust them, really? How interesting. But there's one much more important message in the film, Patrick, that I want to share with you and for people to take away, because this may all sound very, very dark and gloomy. All very, very Orwellian. Big Brother has taken over. No, there is something they can't buy and they've never been able to buy, and that is the extraordinary power of maternal intuition. Now, you and I have it, Patrick, but we don't have it to anything like the same extent as mothers. This is not an emotional argument. This is what the film is really about. It's about a woman who gets pregnant and starts to think, there is an issue here I need to understand. I need to get to the bottom of this. I need to read, I need to research, because every decision I make from this point forward is going to impact the life of this precious child. Her husband, of course, is, oh, come on, darling, what about polio? You're just getting yourself upset about nothing. He is dragged on this journey. Either he comes with her or he disappears out of the movie. And I've been through this scenario so many times with so many founders, and 95% of those founders, it's the mother, that little voice inside her that says there is something wrong. And it's not an emotional issue. It's a survival imperative. That little voice is there and has been there for thousands and thousands of years, has evolved to become the reason we are here on this earth now. Not because of men in white coats or vaccines or antibiotics, anything medicine has done, but because of that voice, that mother's intuition of when her baby is well and her baby is not well. what is right and what is wrong. And people have said, oh, that's just anti-science. You're deferring to maternal intuition, something amorphous that we can't see and touch and feel. No. This mother's intuition does not tell her to not vaccinate. If it did, there'd be no movie. That would be it. It would be over. It tells her to defer to the science. It tells her to read the science, study the science, analyze the science and the law and the litigation, and come to her own conclusion, what is right for her child. And when mothers, collectively and individually, worldwide, realize that power, then this is going to change. When they defer to that internal authority, not to the external authority of Tony Fauci standing behind a podium telling them what they've got to do, what they haven't got to do, or anyone else, when they defer to that inner authority, then things will change dramatically. And they are changing because people are starting to wake up to that inner voice. So that really is film is all about subtext. And that is the subtext of this film. That is the takeaway message. And in the end, she brings her husband on board to the point where he is even more vocal, even more outspoken, and they make an informed choice at the end of the day.
That concludes part one of my interview with Dr. Andrew Wakefield. As you can see, his story is compelling. His grasp and expertise and intelligence surrounding this topic is something that could never or should never be challenged. The man knows what he's talking about. This information needs to get out into the world. I really, really hope that you'll help share this, let other people know about this while we're in the free viewing period of Vaccines Revealed. I appreciate you being here with me. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you in part two of this interview.